Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I'm Cody Johnson with news from around the Columbia Basin for Monday, April 22nd. Tonight we report on how Ephrata is considering limiting displays left at grave sites and how the popular space burgers were at the Grant County Fairgrounds. We also look at how a man tried to outrun Quincy police and find out the possible reason for a gunfight in Western Washington that led to 8 officers on administrative leave. In sports, Wenatchee Wild have reached the West Division Finals, and the Mariners came away empty-handed against Texas over the weekend. Our spotlight story tonight is about a small group of artists learning more about Monet. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. Our top story tonight, Ephrata cemetery visitors may be restricted on what they can leave at grave sites. The Ephrata City Council got their first view of a proposed ordinance, which would mean people can't leave most displays at the cemetery during the spring, summer, and early fall. City Administrator Wes Crago presented the initial proposal in January, saying the city staff has decreased by 18 full-time employees during the past 11 years. Crago said it takes 3 people to mow the lawn because one person needs to remove displays, one person needs to mow, and a third person is needed to replace the displays. The council decided in January it wanted to look at options for not allowing the displays, such as stuffed animals, flowers in vases, and other items which can't be mowed. The city staff returned with a proposal which would prohibit displays to be left at the graves between March and October with 4 exceptions. The proposal allows flowers without any other materials, displays for Memorial Day, Independence Day, and Veterans Day weekends, displays during the 24 hours before and 24 hours after a funeral, and donated trees. The Lioness Club of Moses Lake opened their Space Burgers booth at the Grant County Fairgrounds last weekend to help raise funds for the Relay for Life and the Moses Lake Cancer Foundation. Here with the story is Ryan Lancaster.
The lines were long and they were deep at the Moses Lake Lioness Club's Space Burger booth this past weekend, held during the gun show at the Grant County Fairgrounds.
Well, I got here at about 11:45 and we've been steady ever since. Had to open new windows, so we're doing really well.
Lioness Club VP Terry Sell said all the funds raised during the 3 days will be donated to the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life and the Columbia Basin Cancer Foundation. While numbers weren't available prior to press time on Monday, the booth looked to be a big success.
Everything we make at the 2 fairs for the year is we give to different organizations.
The booth was run entirely by volunteers who prepped, pressed, and presented the popular pocket sandwiches for scores of customers. Sell said the booth is a lot of fun for members.
Being a lioness is a blast. We have a great time. We do a lot of functions as a group, and we're always looking for new members. So come on down and volunteer and find out how much fun you can have and become a lioness.
If you missed them this time around, don't worry. Space Burgers will be back during the Grant County Fair, which is coming up August 13. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting with Spencer Graham.
Thanks, Ryan. And we've just learned in total 3,785 Space Burgers were sold over the 3 days, which means a lot of money for a very good cause. A Snohomish man is accused of molesting a 6-year-old Coulee City girl. Prosecutors charged 31-year-old Ryan Dorman with rape of a child in the 1st degree, child molestation in the 1st degree, and indecent exposure in Grant County Superior Court. Dorman reportedly molested the daughter of a friend both in the victim's Coulee City home and in his home in Snohomish. The girl reported the incident to her mother after having a series of issues, and her mother reported it to police in 2011. A 19-year-old man was arrested after a 30-mile police chase in the Quincy area on Friday. The incident started after reports of a person showing a gun in a Quincy neighborhood. An officer spotted Quincy resident Porfino Armenta driving a Honda Accord on State Route 28. Armenta allegedly began speeding away and leading police on a chase reaching 100 miles per hour. The chase reportedly ended on Palisades Road in Douglas County when a state trooper used a maneuver to send Armenta's car off the road where it struck a piece of farm equipment. One of the 4 people in the car reportedly tried to flee on foot and was caught. The remaining 3 were taken into custody. Each of the people you see here have warrants for their arrest and are wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be right back after these messages with the latest from the iFIBER One Weather Center, and we've got sports and more news on the way.